pragmático y a eso venimos. Todos tenemos una experiencia, hay similitudes.
Me toca.
Ya.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't have that long memory and I can only write so far. She was saying how important it is to reflect on the exercise of citizenry. Again, citizenry keeps coming up as something we need to discuss more. There's so much theoretical things that we can say, and there's also practical things that we can say. We talk about human rights approaches, we talk about the right to health, and that's where I interrupted her. It takes a long time to say something in Spanish.
Bueno, las experiencias que tenemos cada uno nos enriquece a cada uno, nos fortalece, nos hace crecer mucho más. Y bueno, es una experiencia que llevamos para que nosotros en cada país que nosotros representamos podamos implementar de alguna manera lo aprendido, pero también fortalecer aún mucho más el ejercicio de lo que significa ser ciudadanos realmente de los pueblos indígenas.
Our individual experiences strengthen us and are a part of how we take this experience to our own country context and how we live out citizenry as indigenous peoples.
Bueno, también se visibilizó en la reunión de hoy más que todo que hay un problema bien grande que afrontamos todos en cada país, es para mí el cáncer de la sociedad, que es la corrupción, y frente a ello tenemos que nosotros luchar como ciudadanos, ¿no? Entonces, nosotros también hablando de repente partiendo desde nuestras comunidades, de los pueblos indígenas, nosotros, bueno.
Hablas muy rápido y escribo muy mal. She's talking so fast that I can't understand my handwriting.
She's mindful that her time has run out, so.
So we need to talk about our experiences in light of corruption. Corruption is the cancer of our societies, is what she said. And how can we fight against corruption as citizens and as indigenous people from our everyday lives?
Bueno, pero nosotros tenemos un gran conocimiento desde las comunidades indígenas, es el respeto a la naturaleza, la salud es un todo, es la mirada que tenemos nosotros, no solamente es la parte curativa, sino tiene que ver con el entorno, la cosmovisión, el estado emocional, mental es un todo. Entonces, nosotros luchemos por el que se respete nuestra naturaleza para empezar, y también nosotros fomentar el respeto y también el ejercicio de ciudadanía.
As indigenous people, we have a knowledge about health and about nature and how everything is connected as a whole. We as indigenous people need to fight to keep this respect for nature and to keep our perspective as visible and valuable. Se te va a acabar el tiempo, dijo ya Moses. I tell her that Moses said her time is running out.
Bueno, con esto ya termino. Como ciudadanos tenemos una gran responsabilidad cuando nosotros elegimos a las autoridades, porque cedemos nuestro poder a quienes van a ser de repente los que van a llevar el camino a nuestro país. Entonces es mucha responsabilidad con quienes vamos a trabajar, quién va a velar, va a administrar el presupuesto público nacional en favor de la salud. Si realmente nosotros como ciudadanos aquí sí tenemos un paso más adelante, pero nosotros tenemos que ir fomentando y una constancia. Los ejes transversales tienen que ver con interculturalidad, derechos humanos, género, pero realmente en la práctica ser autocríticos
so sorry,
también.
but I cannot remember all of this. No me acuerdo de todo lo que tú decís, hablas mucho. I told her she talks too much at a time. The citizens have the responsibility to elect their authorities, and this is something that they should really reflect and think about, because whoever we elect is the person that's going to be in power, is the person that's going to take the power that we give them to manage and control our money, which is our national budgets. Are we choosing leaders that are going to be mindful of our health? Are we choosing leaders that are good administrators?
Para terminar, ahora sí,
To
creo que
finish.
aquí estamos
Here we are.
Muchos países con muchas culturas diferentes,
So many
muy
countries
rico
with so
en
many
cada uno
cultures,
de
very
donde
rich
venimos
cultures.
y a donde vamos. Entonces creo que de aquí vamos a ir mucho más fuertes, mucho más siendo responsables y para construir un mundo diferente, pero realmente que la salud sea realmente vista como un derecho, no como un favor que los prestadores de salud a veces, entre comillas, nos quieren hacer creer.
How do they
Gracias.
say stop in Spanish?
Alto. Se dice alto.
They say erato.
Alto.
Alto. Thank you very much. Please do the final interpretation and we move on.
Okay, in one sentence, we have the responsibility as citizens to elect authorities that will be accountable to us, to elect authorities that can manage our resources in the way that we think is correct. And if they're not doing it, we have citizen power and we can take back power from them.
I think, Anna, if you didn't know, you need to get a side job on interpretation. Let's clap for Anna again. So I saw a few more hands. Let's see the hands. There is a hand there.
Hello, I'm Jeff from Uttarakhand, or maybe from New Zealand, one of the two. I've loved today. It's really exciting. And what I've learned is the space of Kopasa is huge and wide. It's as big as going from Guatemala to India to New Zealand. It's huge. It's connecting grassroots stuff horizontally, but it's also what we heard this morning, kind of conceptual stuff from big picture from the whole world to manual scavengers in India. Really big vertical spread. So we've got this huge space to work in. Really exciting. But the space is being squeezed that way and that way. And as we heard this morning, part of our job is to stick our foot in the door, stop it getting closed, and then burst it open. That's pretty exciting. Also, the space is getting deflated. The private sector, the government is handing over responsibility. So we can have the space of working with government, except the government doesn't look after our health anymore. And that's another thing to fight for, to understand conceptually what's happening, and then say, how do we stop that? So it's a really big vertical and horizontal space. It's a conceptual space. It's a practical space. And it's something that affects us all. I find it incredibly exciting. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Sarah. So a lot of things have been said, and I think a lot of learning again has happened. All of us came with a story to this place. And with those stories, I think we've learned a lot from what others have shared. Just one saying from one of the leaders who says, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. If you want to cover a long distance, go many. What does this mean? We've come here as individuals. We've come to represent our countries. But we cannot do anything if we are just on our own like this. So my submission is, how do we support each other in solidarity as countries, as nations? How do we help a country like, for instance, Zambia, to move the agenda along? There are a lot of things that have been proclaimed in governments which are not working. How do we support each other? Meetings like this have been happening. We've met, we've come, and we've gone back. But nothing is happening. How do we start moving as globally as we are? How do we make an impact? How do we move? That is my question, and this question is asked in me every day. We need to support each other. If there are countries which are strong, which can be able to support another country, why not have that mentorship program where we can support another country in solidarity? That is my submission.
So do we have people in the overflow room that have questions? If you are in the overflow room and you have a question, you can come to the front and ask the questions, then you'll go back to the overflow room. Let's get the next question.
गुड आफ्टरनून, मेरा नाम निर्मल चंदेल है और हिमाचल प्रदेश से स्टेट से हम एकल महिलाओं के साथ काम करती हैं। तो हमें एक बहुत खुशी हो रही है कि जो 40 कंट्रियों से लोग आए हैं, हमारे को पहला मौका मिला कि इस तरह से हम, और खासकर जो हम गांव में
Now I need interpretation. Is that Spanish? Eh. Anna, are you going to help? So, someone around to help? Please go ahead. Please tell her to say it again and to speak a bit.
Nirmal works with the single women's network in Himachal. This I already know. अब क्या कहना चाहती हैं बताइए.
हम जैसे कि हमने बहुत सारी जो हम ग्रुप में बैठे हुए थे अलग अलग कंट्रियों के सहभागी, तो हम सुन रहे थे. हमने इंग्लिश तो आती नहीं थी पर फिर भी हमने सीख रहे थे, सीखने की पूरी कोशिश कर रहे थे. और कि जब हमने देखा कि जो हेल्थ के बारे में बातचीत होती है उसमें भी सिंगल वुमेन का बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है, उनकी तरफ कोई इस तरह से ध्यान नहीं देता. तो जो हमने ग्रास रूट पे देखा भी है कि अगर उनके इस तरह से जो फैसिलिटी, जो नीति कानून बने हुए हैं, वो जो लोग नौकरी करते हैं सर्विस, उनमें से सिंगल वुमेन ऐसी हैं जो जिनके पति की डेथ हो जाती है, गुम हो जाते हैं, छोड़ दी है, तलाकशुदा है, पति जेल में है, शादी नहीं की हुई है, उनकी तरफ कोई ध्यान ही नहीं देता. यंग महिलाएं हैं, बुजुर्ग महिलाएं हैं, तो उनको मतलब जो इस तरह से हम देख रहे हैं कि इनके लिए भी ऐसी पॉलिसी बननी चाहिए. और कुछ चीज़ें तो मिलजुल के हम सभी कंट्रियों की देख रहे थे कि जैसे स्वास्थ्य की जो प्रॉब्लम है वो सबकी एक जैसी है, पर हम जो इस तरह से जूझ रही हैं, जो इस तरह से एकल महिलाएं, तो हमें, क्योंकि अगर हमारा स्वास्थ्य ठीक नहीं होगा तो हम कुछ भी नहीं कर पाएंगी. हमारे 4-4 बच्चे हैं, 2-2 बच्चे हैं, कैसे गुजारा करेंगी. तो हम भी ये सोच रही थी कि हमारे जो महिलाएं उनके लिए स्पेशल पॉलिसी बननी चाहिए, क्योंकि जो नौकर हैं, सर्विस करते हैं महिला पुरुष, उनके लिए तो ये पॉलिसी भी बनी है कि उनके बच्चों को दवाइयाँ भी मिलेंगी, उसका पैसा भी रिटर्न मिलेगा, उनको कोई अवेयरनेस भी नहीं है.
अच्छा. So Nirmal says that she sat in a lot of the sessions, and while she didn't understand everything because there was a lot of English, but she did try to make sense of what was happening in other countries. And she found one similarity, that just like in India, when we talk about women's health, we don't really think about women who are single, whether they are unmarried, abandoned, separated, their husbands are in jail, but they are women without the support of a man. And she's trying to draw attention to the fact that women like this exist everywhere, and there has to be more attention paid to the kind of struggles that they deal with, especially because a lot of people get social security from their jobs or from their families, but for women who do not have that, the struggles are even more pronounced. And so she would like that we try to talk about a policy that talks about the health of single women and social security for them, and she thinks all countries should be thinking about something like this.
जो या हमारे पास केस आते हैं, यंग जो लड़के लड़कियों की शादी हो रही है, 2-4 साल बाद तलाक दे देते हैं, तो फिर कई बार उनकी एंट्री भी नहीं होती पंचायत में. अभी 10 दिन हुए, एक लेडीज का केस चला हुआ है, तो मतलब उसके पति सर्विस करते हैं सरकारी नौकरी में, और फिर भी उसका वहाँ पर नाम नहीं पंचायत में दर्ज है. जो बच्चे हुए हैं वो उसके पास हैं, और वो तो हॉस्पिटल में गए, वहाँ से तो सर्टिफिकेट लेके उन बच्चों का स्कूल में तो एडमिशन हो गई. जब हमारा वहाँ एकल महिलाओं का ग्रुप बनाया हमने न्यू, तब उनसे बातचीत की तो कहने लगी कि मेरा राशन कार्ड भी नहीं है. जब हमने उनको सरकारी योजनाओं की जानकारी दी तो ना वो कहने लगी कि ना मेरा राशन कार्ड है, ना मेरा हेल्थ कार्ड बन रहा है, ना मुझे मनरेगा में काम मिल रहा है, मैं तो कहीं में नहीं हूँ. तो फिर क्या जवाब देंगे और क्या
How do they say thank you very much?
Yeah, this is also in the context of citizenship. What she's saying is that women who are alone do not have access to ration cards and ID cards, etc. So they are not able to access entitlements, and consequently they are left with caring for their children without any of these access to entitlements. Bas, ho gaya.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can we have more hands? We still have a lot of time for discussion. There is a hand there. If we get someone from the overflow room, please just walk straight to the front.
Just one thing that I've heard over the course of the day has really been about while we need to keep community and people-centered approaches kind of firmly in our view, because it's the experiences and challenges of people with the health system that really gives meaning and credibility to the work that we do. But we have to zoom our focus out and really think about how the broader systems are driving and generating many of those challenges. And so our approaches need to stay rooted in communities and in people and their experiences of the health system, but they can't stay there. We need to find ways to support communities, to connect them, to find other allies in other places, to work at the right levels where problems are generated, and to connect our approaches so we're not working in isolation. So I think that's kind of come up across, and said in different ways and with reference to specific kinds of health issues, but I think I've heard it across the day and yesterday as well.
Great. There is a hand there.
En español, in Spanish, please. Muy buenas tardes, muy buenas noches. Mi nombre es Luis Lazo, soy coordinador nacional de Foro Salud.
His name is Luis
De Perú.
Lazo, and he's the national coordinator of Foro Salud in Peru.
En las sesiones, las reuniones desde la mañana sumamente interesantes,
The morning sessions were very interesting,
y quería complementar algunos conceptos que me parecen fundamentales para lo que hemos escuchado el día de hoy.
and he wanted to build upon some concepts that seemed to him to be fundamental for the discussions that we have had today.
Completamente de acuerdo con el tema de ciudadanía, gobernanza y responsabilidad social,
Completely on board with the topic of citizenry, with governance, and with social
y
responsibility,
los roles que los pueblos, las comunidades deben ejercer en ello.
and the roles that communities and the original peoples have to play inside of them.
Sin embargo, deberíamos tener en cuenta
But we
que
have to
los
keep in mind
derechos en general no son derechos solamente individuales, sino también son derechos colectivos
But we have to keep in
de
mind
las comunidades,
that rights are not individual rights, they're collective rights that belong to the community.
y que estas comunidades
And that these communities
no solamente se tienen que regir sobre juridicidades del Estado,
these communities are not only ruled by judiciality of the state,
sino que ellas mismas tienen su propia juridicidad
they themselves have their own judiciality.
y que ellas deben eso debe tenerse en cuenta para esas comunidades.
And that we need to keep this in our minds when we work with them.
Dos,
Two,
otro elemento importante considero que es el tema de la determinación social en salud.
another crucial and important topic is the social determinants of health.
Los determinantes, la determinación como un proceso complejo y sistémico,
Determinants are a complex and systemic issue.
todo ello muy bien también, se ha tomado en cuenta, se ha mencionado,
They're always mentioned, they're always taken into account.
pero un elemento que siempre he escuchado o con bastante frecuencia es que hay que generar oportunidades.
But something that I keep hearing, or that I hear very often, is that we need to generate opportunities.
Y estamos de acuerdo que hay que generar oportunidades con las políticas.
And we agree that public policy should generate
Sin-
opportunities.
Sin embargo,
However,
las oportunidades, cuando se dan en un plano de una comunidad inequitativa, desigual,
when these opportunities come into play in a context of unequal power relationships inside a community,
esas oportunidades son aprovechadas de forma distinta
These
quienes se
opportunities-
encuentran en diferentes estratos.
these opportunities are like taken up differently by those that are placed in different strata.
Si yo tengo fuerza y voy a correr 100 metros, con otro que no tiene fuerza y va a correr 100 metros, yo voy a vencerle.
If I'm a strong runner and I'm going to do a 100-meter dash, and
So-
he's not a strong runner and he's going to do it as well, I'm going to win.
Igual tenemos la misma oportunidad.
Even though we have the same opportunity.
Por eso considero que lo que se tiene que construir
And that's why I think that what we need to build
son iguales condiciones
is a platform where everyone has the same conditions,
para que todos los niños y niñas al nacer,
so that all boys and girls from the moment that they're
teniendo
born
las mismas condiciones,
have the same conditions,
finalmente tengan las mismas oportunidades.
and so finally can have the same opportunities.
Y el otro elemento fundamental, 3,
Three.
concluyo.
To conclude,
Yes, sí. Es el tema muy importante que tocaron un trabajador de aquí, de la India,
the really
sobre el
important
tema de la
topic
salud y el trabajo.
about health and work.
La salud la queremos todos,
We
la,
all want
la
health.
deseamos todos.
We all desire to be healthy.
Los determinantes y la determinación social es fundamental abordarse,
Social determinants and how they determine our lives is something that we really need to take into account.
pero en economías como las nuestras,
But in economies like ours,
ligadas al capitalismo y al mercado,
that are capitalist and are linked to a market,
el trabajo es fundamental.
work is fundamental.
No solamente las condiciones de trabajo,
Not just the conditions in
sino
which we
también
work,
las remuneraciones, es
but
decir,
how we get
la
paid for our
capacidad
work.
que tengan las personas
The capacity
para
that the people
justamente
have
entrar en ese mercado
to enter that market
y poder responder a, digámoslo así, con la compra de los servicios que tienen.
and to be able to respond by, let's put it this way, buying our way,
Porque eso es lo
the
que nos
services,
brindan los estados.
because that is what binds the states.
Mientras que la salud sigue siendo privatizada,
Well, all of a while, health continues to be privatized.
la lucha de los trabajadores debe ser por esa.
The fight,
Condiciones de trabajo
the
y
fight of
adecuadas
the-
remuneraciones.
the fight of the working man should be about that. Work for safe and good health conditions that have, and for work that is adequately paid.
Finalmente, ahora sí,
Now,
la
finally, for real,
lucha debiera ser por un sistema universal de salud,
our fight should really be for one universal health system,
universal, público,
public,
gratuito,
free,
solidario
solidary,
y participativo.
and participative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One learning synthesis from that is that a Spanish conclusion is extremely long. Let's have some more. We have about 15 minutes, so we still have time. Let's exhaust the day's reflections. Yes.
Hello. I have really enjoyed hearing the lessons from people working across the world, sharing tools, all of that. I think one thing that's come up in several sessions that's the harm of that, although it is inspiring, although it's nice to hear that there's other people who are in the same fight, we often, I think, get into a system of only speaking with like-minded individuals, people who are already on board with the idea that health is a human right and that human rights are the basis of all of the work that we're doing. So in the last session that I was a part of after lunch, there was a real emphasis on creating a justice consciousness and how do we convince people who aren't already on board with equal rights or health as a human right, I think more specifically, to consider it an end in and of itself. And convince people to join us in the fight. I think that's the only way that we can actually make social accountability more than just checklists, more than just something on paper, which is what I think a lot of government is doing, something they can check off, but actually a system that is improving the opportunities and the conditions for everyone. So I don't know how to convince other people that you should care about other people, but I would be interested to hear that if anyone else has ideas.
Thank you. There's a gentleman at the back that had a hand up. I see people leaving. Please don't be tempted to leave. Let's finish the 15 minutes and close.
Thank you very much, my namesake and my countrymate. I am really proud of the role that you are playing already, steering us into arriving to the solution. I am proud that you lead the judicialization of the right to health in Uganda, and I think it is important that we grow a pool of COPASA members that will support using litigation to support the other countries that don't have that capacity. I think also it's important for us to come up with a fund, say, to support those countries that need that support and yet don't have the money to do the advocacy or also tap into the financial need of the lawyers. I think also it's important for us to look at the health workers, because if we don't build bridges with the health workers, because they can make better advocates. I think also there is source where we have seen health workers champion patients' rights. We have registered a lot of successes. And I think also it's important for us to document all the success stories so that we can have the other people replicate them. Because if we all the other time share our successes and we are not having them written down, we are not leaving any other thing for those that will come ahead of us. So I also think it's important for us to create partnerships in the different thematic areas, because if we said, if we tried to say, look at the theme of 2019 symposium, and then say we looked at those that are interested in citizenship, and then we grow that pool, those that are interested in governance and accountability, and also we grow that pool, I think we will rally more of the people who are here. I want to take this opportunity to thank every one of you who is here, and I hope this is the beginning of us championing right to health accountability, but also speaking to community-based paralegals. I think it's important for us to use that because local solutions work better for the communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm from Nepal. Well, we are here from different parts of the world. We reflected our problems in different languages. We expressed our pain and suffering in very different phrases, different words. But what I learned from yesterday and today's interaction, that no matter in which language we express, no matter how we express, we have common problem. We have one enemy, whether we live in north or in south or in east or west, we have one enemy to defeat. And of course the enemy will be much more powerful compared to us if we fight alone. And we can defeat the enemy only if we have a joint front, because we have been fighting against the enemy from different fronts. This is a time that we should create a joint front to defeat our common enemy. Thank you.
It looks like I'm successfully exhausting all the hands. Are we having any other hand? Let me turn over to the panelists. In one statement, describe today. How would you describe the conversations today? In just one statement.
In Spanish or in English?
Please make sure that even in Spanish it's one statement. Can we get the microphones back?
Working towards an accountability ecosystem that works for all and that works toward health for all now.
In English. I think for me, what I take away from this day is how rich and complex the work that we're doing in accountability is, and how we're integrating work horizontally and vertically to make our community of practice successful in many different ways and according to different definitions.
Para mí, el fortalecimiento ciudadano, el fortalecimiento, el empoderamiento ciudadano es clave para el cambio de nuestra sociedad.
To her, citizen empowerment is the key to changing society.
Okay, it will be, for me, doesn't matter how different we seems to be, we all face very similar and common problems in the achievement of the human rights and the right to health. and our work is very similar to each other. So I think that together, going on together on this path, we can in the future fulfill our ultimate goals to fulfillment of the right to health to the marginalized groups of the population.
Thank you so much. I think on behalf of the steering committee members of COPASA, I would conclude that the themes that were chosen are relevant. The discussion is timely. Action is happening in invited spaces and also uninvited spaces. All that we are looking for is solidarity. Solidarity among us within countries, but also solidarity outside the borders. And I think today that's where we've left the conversations. We definitely have opportunity tomorrow to see how we build further this solidarity to tackle the challenges, the opportunities, and all that has been discussed today. Thank you all very much.